Thanks for requesting this DVD as we discuss how to relieve your final expense burden. The valuable strategies and tips included can be instrumental to you and your family as we contemplate this not so often talked about subject. So stay alert, take some notes as we discuss how you can eliminate a financial burden to your family and provide up to $35,000 in a tax-free benefit to your family for funeral and burial expenses. How you can keep this money safe from creditors and attorneys, and even safe from interest rates and market fluctuations. How you can create a sensible plan that contains effective and functional tools, and most importantly, how to obtain a benefit that comes with an ironclad 5-way guarantee. As the moderate age of our country's population tips toward senior generations, tens of thousands are waking up to the realization that their final arrangements are not something they want to be left to their loved ones to deal with. In other words, they don't want to be a burden to their family. To quote Benjamin Franklin, nothing is certain except death and taxes. Yet even though it's inevitable, statistics show that up to 60% of seniors do not currently have a plan in place to solve this issue of final expense costs. If you're watching this video, those statistics might even include yourself. Well, let's face it, this is not a readily discussed topic. However, the sooner it's tackled, the more viable options you'll have available. So congratulations for taking the first step. The bottom line is you don't want to leave your family with debt. But if you're counting on the government's $255 or maybe $300 veterans benefit, that's easy to do. The harsh reality is that the cost of funeral and burial is getting out of control. According to CNN Money, November 2012, at a typical price of $10,000 or more for a traditional funeral and burial, making final arrangements for a deceased relative is one of the biggest expenses families face. Let's take a look at just some of the funeral estimates that we see during this article. Professional services, which can include embalming, visitation, preparation, general basic arrangements, up to $4,500. Facility charges, casketing, cards, clothing, hairdressing, staff supervision, etc., $2,600 or $2,700. Just for the vault and liner alone, about $800, with a total estimated funeral home expense of about $8,000. Then we take into consideration cemetery expenses for the cemetery plot, the headstone, opening and closing of the grave, a total estimate of about $2,600. There can be all kinds of other costs associated with final expenses, unpaid medical bills, debts, attorney's fees and taxes of all kinds, court and probate costs. You might even have to pay upkeep and maintenance on real property. So with all told, with the funeral home expenses, with the cemetery expenses and other costs, you could easily be looking at $15,000 or more. Up to this point, we've only discussed the financial burdens and not the weight of the physical, mental, and emotional stress and strain. Have any of you out there ever had the pleasure of planning a wedding? I'm sure many of you have. Well, as you know, months of preparation is necessary if you want all of those details to come together seamlessly. Now imagine doing all of that in 3 or 4 days. Well, that's the usual timeline for viewing funeral services and whatever else is planned. So talk about stressful, putting months of work into just days. Then you have the executor's duties, including the distribution of assets according to your wishes set forth in a last will and testament. And inflation has actually stolen some of the buying power from life insurance policies that you might already own. The U.S. Department of Labor said, according to the Consumer Price Index, a $10,000 policy purchased 15 or 20 years ago could have as much as $4,100 less buying power in today's environment. With all of this in mind, what can you do to actually solve these issues? Well, everyone is responsible to be prepared, and when the time comes, wouldn't it be prudent to have all of your affairs in order? And not just for yourself, but also for your family. Well, there is a plan that can have you properly prepared for the family crisis that one day we will all face. Although it's not complicated, a comprehensive plan has more than just one component. Here we suggest four. The first and primary component being a burial insurance fund. This type of policy is designed specifically for the senior, just like yourself, between ages 45 and 85, and this can provide you and your family with affordable burial protection, and it pays in addition to any other insurance you might already have. In just a moment, I'll show you how this specific benefit comes with an ironclad 5-way guarantee. The second piece of the puzzle is a memorial guide, and this tool will allow you to do some planning and put down in writing your wishes so your family knows exactly what you would desire. Next, we have a last will and testament, a simplified will to avoid family battles over who gets what. Many people don't even have this basic tool in place, and if they do, they can be quickly outdated. Finally, a healthcare proxy. If you've ever become incapacitated, either mentally or physically, this document will allow your family to make decisions the way that you would want. Now, this comprehensive plan can be your answer to the final expense burden dilemma. Let's take a look at the centerpiece of your solution, burial insurance. This is the primary component we just described, and it fulfills two main goals. First, to eliminate financial burdens to your family, and second, to provide tax-free cash for funeral and burial expenses. This solution can not only meet your goals, but can also exceed your goals. First, give your family a guaranteed tax-free benefit of up to $35,000. No creditors or attorneys can even touch this money. It goes directly to whoever you name as the beneficiary, usually within a week. And you can have immediate benefits from the very first day. This is also known as full coverage, and you do have to qualify for this particular benefit. We'll talk about in a moment how you can do that. This money can be used for any purpose you need it to: funeral expenses, burial expenses, taxes, debts, bills, whatever you need it to. And you can have a valuable, all-encompassing plan of action so that you know deep down in your heart that you're completely prepared. Permanent whole life burial insurance comes with a 5-way ironclad guarantee. First of all, your premiums are guaranteed never to change. They'll never go up. Second, the death benefit amount is guaranteed to stay the same. It will never go down. You're guaranteed to build cash value that you can borrow against in the future. You cannot be canceled, guaranteed, regardless of your age or health, as long as your premiums are paid on time. And you're guaranteed to be issued a policy right up to age 75, regardless of your health conditions. These guarantees are not subject to interest rates or stock market fluctuations. The guarantees we just looked at are an important difference between whole life and term insurance, and it's imperative that you understand the difference between the two. If you don't, it's possible to get stuck between the proverbial rock and hard place. On the left-hand column are the attributes of a permanent whole life insurance policy, and on the right-hand column are the attributes of a term insurance policy. Now, the fundamental difference between these two is that a whole life policy is guaranteed to be with you for your whole life. They can never cancel you because of your age or health. Term insurance policies, on the other hand, are issued for certain periods of time or terms. Common time periods for term insurances are 5, 10, and 15-year terms. At the end of these term periods, the policies can simply end and no longer cover you. How would you feel if you paid into an insurance policy for 10 years, the policy paid no interest, had no cash value, and paid no death benefit? You would not likely be very satisfied. In fact, you might even be angry. Now, with the premiums on a permanent whole life insurance policy, they're guaranteed never to change. Now, there are some whole life policies in the marketplace that do not have guaranteed premiums. However, all of the policies sold by Senior American Insurance Agency have guaranteed premiums. They're guaranteed never to change. Term insurance policies have premiums that can actually rise. They can increase by time periods, or they can increase towards the end of the term. Many of these policies do have stable premiums at the very beginning, but they usually shoot up higher as the policy ages and gets towards the end of the 5, the 10, or the 15-year period. Now, the other thing about permanent whole life insurance policies is that the death benefit is guaranteed never to go down. It's always a stable amount. With term insurance, there are policies out there that actually have shrinking benefits, and some of them actually have disappearing benefits. These are called decreasing benefit term policies. With permanent whole life insurance, you have guaranteed fixed premiums and guaranteed fixed death benefits. Those are never going to change. With term insurance, the premiums and the death benefits are not necessarily guaranteed. Now, it's important to understand the difference between whole life and term insurance. If you shop by premium or price alone without understanding the type of policy that you're buying, you might be shocked and even surprised in the future, because unfortunately there might not be anything that you can do about a decreasing benefit or an increasing premium. Here's the worst case scenario. Let's say you bought a 10-year term policy at age 66, then at age 75 you have a heart attack and then heart surgery to correct that ailment. You get a letter from your term insurance company about 3 months before your 76th birthday stating, well, your term is up, your policy is going to end when you turn 76. So now you scramble around going through this whole process again, trying to find companies to insure you, but now you find that no companies are willing to take you on because of previous health conditions. When term periods end, you can be put into a very difficult situation. Make sure you know the type of policy that you're getting before these types of things happen, and don't get stuck without burial insurance. One of the benefits of having immediate full coverage on a whole life policy is leverage. You're leveraging a small monthly investment into a much larger death benefit that's available right away, right from the very first day. Let's take an arbitrary $50 monthly investment. That can equal a $10,000 payment to your family right from the very first day. So let's take a look at some of the underwriting rules and regulations. There are 3 types of policies that companies offer based upon a set of health questions. Full coverage is usually the most beneficial and the most sought after because of what we've explained. 100% of the benefit can be available right from the very first day of the policy. Now understand that only by answering a specific set of health questions can you determine if you would fit the criteria for a full benefit plan, and I'll show you in just a moment how you can do that. If you want to understand the big picture, if you look at the general rules, the companies usually look back 2 years and make sure that you've had no problems with any of the major organs, your brain, heart, lungs, kidney, or liver, or had cancer or insulin-dependent diabetes, Parkinson's disease, ALS, systemic lupus, COPD, and if none of those things apply, you might just be able to qualify for a full coverage benefit, and again, we'll show you in a moment how you can do that. A graded benefit plan is for people that have some health conditions but nothing major. Again, you can only qualify by answering the specific set of questions for that company. And again, I'll show you in a moment how you can do that. It does differ by company, but it's very possible to get 30% of the benefit available during the first year, 70% of the benefit available during the second year, and 100% of the benefit from that point forward. Guaranteed issue policies usually ask limited or no health questions whatsoever. However, you might have no death benefit or a limited death benefit during the first 2 years and not have a full benefit until the 3rd year and after. The maximum age for a guaranteed issue policy is usually age 75, but it can be higher in some other states. In a moment, I'll show you how you can find out what type of plan that you might qualify yourself. To find out what type of policy you can qualify for, call our toll-free hotline at 800-680-1185 between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. or between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. We'll schedule you to receive a free qualification and quote session where you can find out if you can qualify for up to $35,000 in a tax-free death benefit for your family. Relieve the final expense burden once and for all. There's no obligation, and we'll even check your existing policies to make sure you don't have the 3 bad things: increasing premiums, decreasing value, or a policy termination date. Again, to relieve your final expense burden once and for all, call for a free qualification and quote session. Find out if you're qualified to give your family up to $35,000 in a tax-free death benefit. Call between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. or between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. at 800-680-1185. Ask for Joan Picone, and you'll find out how to receive a simplified last will and testament. Online companies charge up to $69 for this, and attorneys charge a heck of a lot more, but you can get it for free when you call Joan at 800-680-1185 and schedule your free qualification and quote session. There's no purchase necessary. There's no obligation. You get everything you need to make your final expense plan complete. You get your free qualification and quote session, you get a free policy check, you get the free last will and testament. We're including the free memorial guide and the free healthcare proxy. To make sure your final expense plan is complete, call Joan Picone weekdays between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. or between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. at 800-680-1185.